Why is a low carbon future important?
Because the way we're living right now isn't sustainable.
I think a low carbon world's the only way we're going to have a world in the future.
It's going to be the end of us. Probably not the end of the planet, but the end of us if we don't sort it out now.
Twice, 2 weeks in Creative Endeavour captures and shares the stories of people making positive dents on society. I'm your host, David Binstead. This episode is about the 6 teams shortlisted from 36 applicants to compete in the 2017 Low Carbon Challenge. They're developing practical solutions to pitch for significant stacks of real funding at the finale in Wellington next Tuesday 31st of October. Climate deniers, you probably want to look away now or go make a nice long cup of tea. In this 30-minute show, I chat individually with 5 of the 6 teams to summarise their low carbon challenge ideas and also then round out with a short altogether. In this, the challenge's 4th year, they've been working for 8 weeks on developing their concepts for a competitive pitch for a share of $45,000 of seed funding. The highly motivated, fun and diverse crew of innovators and entrepreneurs, and I'm sure you'll enjoy hearing more about their solutions. Before we get into that, I wanted to thank BizDojo and Collider Wellington for their show support. Find out more about what they can do for you, nestled in this episode's show notes. First up, I chatted with Matt, who wants to take biofuel to the people. Also internally known as Matt's Fantastic Fuel.
Hi, I'm Matt Lamison. I'm the founder and owner of People's Coffee, a fair trade organic coffee roasting business in Wellington, and also the mastermind behind the Kapiti Biodiesel Cooperative.
Can you just give us in summary terms what your low carbon challenge idea is and what you're hoping to achieve?
We're the Kapiti Biodiesel Cooperative, so we're a cooperative limited liability company. We take waste cooking oils from Kapiti businesses like fish and chip shops and restaurants, and we process that in some amazing piece of kit from the States called the BioPro 190, and you put waste oil in and we get 100% biodiesel commercial grade out of it, which you can run in any diesel engine. And we sell that to our members, and then we also sell that to non-members at a higher rate. It's all shipping containerized, so we got this idea where it can be scaled if people wanted to repeat it around the country. What really want to get the word out to a bigger audience. I think Wellingtonians generally just love this shit, and they love ideas. And so for me, the idea of it is just transforming the way we think about energy and resilience and localized support networks. So there's that one thing of getting the story out. The other thing is we're also funding for a biodiesel mini tanker, so we can actually deliver to people like People's Coffee, and we're talking with Garage Project and Common Properties.
There's kind of a bit of a common theme running there with new projects and old, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the people element. And I think for me personally, I've been enamored with coffee grower co-ops as I've travelled the world visiting producers and seen how valuable they are. And I was always interested in the cooperative model. And so this is a great opportunity for me to really feel what it's like to start up a cooperative.
What happens when you get a big stack of money?
That great stack of money. So we will buy the biodiesel mini tanker. We will also would be really helpful to have a bit more working capital, just so that in case we don't grow as fast as we think we will. We also would, if we got a big stack, if we really exceeded our target, we'd want to put that into a kitty for another startup. Wellington would be the next site.
Here we are at the Low Carbon Challenge 2017, and diesel's becoming a little bit, it's got a bit of a image problem, let's say.
Well, you're British, and the British are trying to outlaw them, so fair enough. But Rudolf Diesel in 1900 actually designed the diesel to run on vegetable oil, so it was always there. The other thing is the Environmental Protection Agency in the States have done studies that show an 87% reduction in greenhouse gases when you use biodiesel over regular mineral diesel. So that's huge as a transition fuel. I mean, we're not all going to get Teslas tomorrow. So I see this as a transition economy. What are other opportunities if you can't afford a Nissan Leaf or, before we get there? And there's plenty of people in the hospo business who drive diesels. Diesels are really the heavy workhorses, so I think we can really hit that market. And it's just a symbol of change that we want to inspire people with.
So Matt is seeking to spread the message, access working capital, and looking to invest in equipment for a growth plan to take biodiesel locally refined and delivered to other sustainable focus organisations and businesses. Second in for a chat were Ollie and Marie, who are aiming to end period poverty in New Zealand.
Kia ora, I'm Marie Larking.
And I'm Ollie Body.
And we've set up a social enterprise to end period poverty, period waste and the period taboo.
And we're called Wā Collective, and we're really excited to be part of the Low Carbon Challenge and doing our pitch presentation on Tuesday.
How are you feeling? Just tell me what's in your hearts.
Excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to deliver our pitch and hear feedback on what everyone thinks about Wā Collective.
I'm just excited for it to launch, and then we have so many cool rewards, and I just want people to go crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
And how much work has been involved in getting to even now, even before the Low Carbon Challenge?
Shit tons.
Yep, sorry about the swearing. We can do something about that.
This is an adult podcast.
Yeah,
We're talking about menstrual cups.
Yeah, I suppose we've been planning this and working with Wā Collective since late November 2016, which was when we first realised that people were actually struggling with period poverty in New Zealand, as in people were actually unable to or struggling to afford conventional menstrual products. And that's when we looked into seeing what we could do about that. And so that has taken where we are in the world right to here with the Low Carbon Challenge currently.
Ollie then gave me a bit more detail about their work and the tangible difference they're already making.
Wā Collective exists because we want to end period poverty, period waste, and the period taboo. Currently, we partner with students' associations within universities to offer students subsidised menstrual cups as an alternative to them buying their monthly supply of tampons or pads. That came about because we realised we put out a survey in late 2016 and we got 1,000 responses. And from that, 1 out of every 3 menstruating students had skipped class at some point because they couldn't afford menstrual products. And that just completely shocked us, hey Marie?
Yeah, yep.
It was ridiculous, and that's what motivated us to do something about it. So currently we're operating on university campuses. However, with this Pledge Me, this is going to launch us into a national Bought to Support campaign whereby members of the public can also purchase our Wā cups, and then each purchase that is sold helps to subsidise the cost down for a cup for a student to just $15.
Talk to me though a little bit about what some might perceive as a bit of taboo about menstruation and stuff. Is that something like a barrier that you feel you've had to overcome?
Yeah, well, even when we first started this going and looking what we could do with Wā Collective, it was a little bit hard for ourselves to know the line to what to talk about and what not to talk about. And I think it's literally just saying it how it is.
Yeah, a period's a period.
Yeah,
people menstruate.
Yeah,
especially people with ovaries.
And most of the world menstruates, and the fact that in some cultures they're not allowed to sleep inside, it's just ridiculous. And in our own backyard as well, it's the fact that we're not addressing that we have a luxury tax on menstrual products, and people can't afford them, and people need them. Don't throw them back to the Stone Ages just because they can't afford menstrual products.
Yeah, so I suppose a way we're tackling the menstruation taboo is we're using a bloody lot of humour.
Yes.
Because we've found we use puns and everything. I recommend going onto our website as well, wacollective.org.nz, if you're keen to check out some period humour, some good puns.
Yeah.
Because it opens up a discourse, and it makes people feel comfortable about talking about something that they otherwise possibly wouldn't. I can talk about this now with my grandfather, and we have great talks about periods and menstrual cups, and I would have never ever expected to be able to do that.
Well, the fact that you just meet somebody and you literally have a conversation about periods. I have done that multiple times. I just went away to Hawke's Bay and I talked to 2 new people I met and had a whole conversation with them.
Marie, if you can just tell me Where would the money go that you win on Tuesday?
Oh, well, one, going into the stock that we will be for the new cup. And also, if just getting this new cup in, I suppose, is like the main driver. But
That's
also,
amazing.
like, it just shows the support that's out there as well.
Tangibly as well, it means we could actually do some serious marketing campaigns, because right now we're running off a zero budget. But then if we can actually scream and shout about WA Collective and about periods even louder, that's when we can really get some momentum behind this and actually be making some social change and making that change that we're all after.
And maybe even pay yourselves a bit, possibly.
Yes.
Definitely. Currently we're volunteering our time for this, and would really, really want to switch over to becoming a sustainable business as well, by means of absolutely employing at least one of us there. So, yeah.
Ollie and Marie are continuing to work to end period poverty. Low Carbon Challenge funding will be invested in more stock, importing a new cup design, marketing and messaging, and perhaps even to start drawing a salary. The third Low Carbon Challenge team of Nick, Jess and Bev talked about Gurgle, spelt Gurgl, a software solution to upcycle babies' clothing to solve the textile waste problem.
Hey, my name's Nick. I am with Team Gurgle, and I am the financial controller. So I look after all the books and make sure that we're going to be profitable and sustainable.
I'm Jess. I'm an animal lover, a veggie garden extraordinaire. I'm also a social anthropologist by trade, but I'm also the Gurgle social media person, I guess you could say. So I'm driving the Facebook page at the moment. Yeah.
And Bev, who is an accidental entrepreneur who can't spell entrepreneur, so never figured it could be her job title, but with a newly sort of inspired lease on social enterprise and running a business that can make a difference.
Give me a rough view or quick summary view of your idea and what you're hoping to achieve.
We are Team Gurgle from Gurgle New Zealand, and the general gist of the project is a closed subscription clothing model for babies and infants. And yeah, we are here to get it off the ground, really.
My interpretation of that is there is a large market for babies and children's clothing, and you're trying to use software, i.e. technology, to connect sellers with buyers.
That's how it started. But it started as more of an online clothing library where people could donate secondhand clothing, because we recognised there were no op shops for babies. But then we realised parents actually just want something that's delivered to their door. Gurgle boxes would arrive and they would be filled with kind of beautiful pre-loved baby clothing, and that kind of helps to solve a textile waste problem as well.
Nick, who's responsible for the name?
That would be Bev. So she came up with it after thinking about Google and the sound that babies make, which is gurgle. And then after a few conversations with people, we decided it would be good to just drop the E to make it sound more techie.
Nick then touched on how and why software can help enable the transition to a low-carbon economy, and how their software-based solution fits into the low-carbon challenge.
So I think software is really key to making this work. I think the old days of brick and mortar and having a physical store and using up resources that actually don't need to be utilised to make this work is really important for the whole theme of low carbon. And the second-hand nature of the clothing, like we're delivering like really high quality clothing to people, but at the same time we're not introducing more and more textile waste. So the both sides of that really is what makes us relevant for the low carbon challenge.
Delivery by drone or for the future?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, everything that Gurgle sends out can be delivered in boxes that come back to us that we reuse over and over again in vehicles that either run on Matt's Fantastic Fuel, I think you should rename it to Matt's Fantastic Fuel, or in electric vehicles. You know, we don't need to be guzzling diesel. We don't need to have that output going into the environment. So yeah, anything that we can do that we can make this even greener, bring it on.
What are you looking forward to for next Tuesday night?
I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of green ears that haven't heard me waffling on about it, so I can talk to them some more about why this can really make a difference and why Wellington is the perfect community to launch a project like this. Because everything that I have learnt in my 8 years of living here is that Wellingtonians really support that new growth. They support innovative ideas, and I don't think I would be attempting an idea like this if I had still lived in the UK, where I'm originally from. So yeah, it's the backing of my fellow Kiwis that's really given me the guts to get out there and give this a shot. So I'm looking forward to pestering them all with my idea.
Potential handy chunk of change coming your way next Tuesday night with a fair wind. Where would that go?
I guess the answer's twofold. Firstly, it would go into getting the word out there. There's I believe this is an awesome idea, and really looking forward to next Tuesday to drum up that excitement. But obviously, not everyone knows it exists, and we really have to focusing on sales and marketing. Getting our first batch of clothing. So, the marketing is not only getting people to the platform and getting people to sign up to subscriptions, but also having parents who have old clothes to donate, actually getting them across. Lastly is the website. And so we've got a fair bit of work to do on that.
And I suppose the important thing to bring up about really driving home our message is not only are we providing families with clothes at a convenient level, but we're also aiming to provide a space for families to donate clothes that they no longer need anymore. And Bev, she mentioned before that she's from the UK, but she's actually from Malawi originally, and she's seen the price of textile waste firsthand. So what really happens to our clothes, where they actually end up, and it's pretty daunting when you look at that stuff. So we're hoping to break that chain. Yeah.
Team Gurgle of Nick, Jess and Bev will invest the Low Carbon Challenge funding to spread the message, which will also source clothing for reuse alongside web development. Fourth up, and Sarah, Ali and Gemma are developing Wasted, a conference focused on education to encourage dialogue for communities to build a sustainable low-carbon future.
I'm Sarah. I'm from Melbourne. I'm working at the Arrow Valley Community Centre. Basically came over here to do some community initiatives and get involved in waste minimisation. And then met these guys, and now I want to leave. No!
I'm Ali. I'm stay-at-home mum of two, teach a bit of yoga, used to be an event manager, stopped doing that when the kids arrived, met these guys through boomerang bags, and have just kind of formed a really strong bond with them. I think we're on the same mission.
Hi, I'm Gemma, and I work as a project manager in an IT firm. I kind of got involved with boomerang bags and then met these guys, and then they started teaching me a bit more about being waste free, and it just kind of made sense. So it's just gone spiraled out of control from there.
Week before the Low Carbon Challenge finale, just talk to me briefly about what your idea and project is and what you're hoping to achieve with it.
Our idea and project has changed about 4 times since we started, but I think the mission has been the same, which is basically to get Wellington waste free, and bring all of those people together who are working in the field, and also just bring the issues to light and kind of put a bit of an emphasis on how bad we are in this city.
Yeah, and also I think to collaborate with the City Council, and to put a little bit of pressure on Wellingtonians as well to go, hey, we're pretty bad in Wellington when it comes to our waste. We're one of the worst major cities in New Zealand. Napier's the only city that puts more waste into landfill than we do, and as the capital of New Zealand, and with a predominantly sort of green Labour voting peoples, one would hope that we can remake those connections between how we deal with our own waste and be responsible for it.
I think also part of the whole putting pressure on, like Ali says, is actually making people aware of it, because there's so many people who just are not even aware of how much waste they make. You put some lunch rubbish in your bin under your desk, and then you're in the kitchen at work and you put some rubbish over there, and then you go home and you only put out 1 bag a week, so that's not much, right? but it adds up, and getting people to actually realise how quickly it adds up. So a lot of education is needed around that.
So talk to me about the idea you're pitching at the Low Carbon Challenge next Tuesday night at the finale. What is the idea, and how is it going to help kind of meet those goals that you so obviously passionately feel about?
We're pitching a conference or a conversation in 2018, hopefully in collaboration with the City Council. We've got a meeting lined up later this week. We want to bring all the communities together into one space. We would like to bring some speakers over who have experience in city waste minimisation, potentially international speakers. And we want to get everyone in a room to actually talk about it and to go, this is what I'm doing, to connect, to see how we can build those connections, to maybe, we want the objectives of this to align with the new waste minimisation plan that the council's about to release, and to work alongside them, but also to go, how are we going to do this as a community, and how can we bring this into this public sphere within Wellington?
We know that there's loads of passionate little pockets of groups of people around Wellington focusing on different areas. Like Kai Cycle, they focus on compost. There's people on recycling. There's zero waste groups on Facebook. But actually bringing them together and facilitating having a conversation between those groups and showing them that it's not just about compost. It's about plastic waste. It's about plastic bags. It's about every other aspect.
It's about being able to be that umbrella for them.
Yeah, and so that they're having them all together in one room with the council to go, this is what you have access to. These are the resources who want to minimise waste in the city, support them.
What would success look like for you? Imagining you've just delivered the conference in 2018, what would that look like?
I think next Tuesday night, success would be people actually understanding what we're trying to do. And not ask us about our business but see the bigger picture and get on board and talk to people. That would be probably success for us, and have the council go, yep, totally, we back it. After the conference conversation, I think success would be having a list of projects, demands, and a plan that we can actually put into practice with the City Council to extend and scale up all of these initiatives that are already happening across the city.
But also, I think, to engage some businesses, some big Wellington businesses through that conference, and get them on board with their own push with the City Council would be awesome as well. Just some of those really big iconic businesses to come in and go, actually, we support this, and by supporting this, we're going to try and do this in our own like offices, in our own space, do that. Yeah, and seeing the council reach their goals, they're dropping, their 200 kilo drop by 2023 would be amazing.
The Wasted Initiative will invest to deliver a conference whose aims are to engage businesses and communities in the conversation to support tangible change. Fifth and finally, Richie Moore from Spicer Landfill and his proven concept to upcycle waste polystyrene.
My name's Richard Moore. I run Polypallis, the polystyrene recycler at Spicer Landfill. We've been operating out of some derelict sheds at Spicer Landfill for the last 15 years, and over that time we've developed the capability to produce 100% recycled polystyrene suitable for wide application in the built environment.
Just tell me about your involvement though with the Low Carbon Challenge. What is the idea you're pitching next Tuesday night, and what do you hope it's going to achieve in low carbon terms?
Well, the first problem we're solving is the issue of waste polystyrene. I mean, every piece of polystyrene that you've ever seen, that you've ever touched, or you've ever caused to be created by what you've purchased is still out there. And it's out there, sitting there somewhere, and it's waiting. And I'd like to think it's waiting for us. If we could remanufacture waste polystyrene, that there was a huge opportunity to put it in the built environment rather than to put it in landfill.
I then asked Richie how he got involved in the Low Carbon Challenge.
I've been promising my daughter that we would build her a tiny house, a sleep out. She's always been popular when we went to a place with a sleep out, that I would build her one. And some friends of mine have found their business relocating at the Torito Gardens, and they've got challenges in terms of what structures they're going to move into on the new piece of land they've acquired. And so for a number of reasons, I was interested in pursuing this idea that we could build a different way with polystyrene. This was the opportunity to actually do it ourselves, to demonstrate the concept by joining the Low Carbon Challenge and build some tiny houses to demonstrate this exciting new capability.
Next Tuesday night, 6 teams pitching for quite a big kitty of money to help develop those ideas further and possibly commercially. What difference would winning some of that pot of cash make to your idea and to your concept?
The crowdfunding opportunity was a major driver for Polypalus being involved in the Low Carbon Challenge. I had very little knowledge of crowdfunding. What we're actually doing is building tiny houses, and we believe the best way of enabling social enterprise. And so this whole focus on the crowdfunding is more a learning experience for us.
What would success look like for you next Tuesday night at the finale?
Success going forward is about building relationships. And the difference between working in the waste industry for 15 years and the experience of the Low Carbon Challenge is here you've got 6 teams, and the positive motivation is just so obvious. What the Low Carbon Challenge does, it reinvigorates you. We're mixing with people who are doing really exciting ideas. I see real opportunities in waste, and I see real opportunities coming from people who say we can rather than we can't.
Richie and Polypalus will invest Low Carbon Challenge funds to develop his tiny house concept using recycled polystyrene, which would otherwise be discarded as waste. The 6th Low Carbon Challenge team is made up of Jack Candlish, founder of Organic Dynamic, dedicated to offering ocean lovers environmentally friendly surfboard options. Unfortunately, Jack was off sick and wasn't available to chat, but do check out Twice Podcast episode 47, where we captured his full story alongside craft beer. It was great having time with each of the teams in their final preparation. I lastly gathered them together to ask about what needs to happen to support and drive positive change in transitioning to a low carbon economy.
The human race need to start taking responsibility for their own decisions and stop paying so much attention to the crazy marketing we get, and actually start believing in that we belong on this earth, therefore we need to look after it. And we're not the rulers of the earth, we're the guardians.
Everybody seems to want a cheaper deal. If everything in the world was free, we'd consume it like there was no tomorrow, and we'd leave nothing for our kids. And what we're all focused on here is building a better world. You know, building a better world, building a better, more resilient world, and not passing something on to our children that we didn't have.
I'd hope that everyone that listens to the pitches on the weekend starts to think about the opportunities in their life that they can start to shift things and change things. Because, as we said earlier, there's just so much opportunity in this, in looking at things in this way. There's so many challenges to solve and places to improve. There's so much work to be done, and that work is incredibly meaningful because it impacts so many people, and it improves the places we live in and the environments that we inhabit. So I see a lot of fun in the future in this area, and I see a lot of opportunity of people getting involved and doing stuff that really means something to them.
Hopefully all the publicity around the Low Carbon Challenge will ultimately start a discourse and get people talking more about social enterprise and the way we can kind of consume our way to a better world rather than just looking for a cheap deal
Totally. Going off the back of that as well, I think Marie and I at least were really excited that through the Low Carbon Challenge we can actually now be in a position to inspire others to do similar things, because throughout our journey with Wā Collective we've been inspired and had help from so many other people around, but to actually now be in that position of leadership where other people can then look up to us and go, oh my gosh, you know, I can actually get here, I can actually make a real impact or get on the road to making a real impact. Why don't I just try that? That's pretty special, and yeah, we're all in that position now, so that's awesome.
Ants, who's one of the organising team and a guest on episode 45 talking work at Inspiral, finished up reflecting on progress and growth of the Low Carbon Challenge over the last 4 years.
From a program perspective, it's great to see that as well, because 4 years ago when we kicked this first Low Carbon Challenge off, we only had 3 teams apply, and it was really hard to get those 3 teams. And now 4 years on down the track, we had 36 teams apply this year with awesome ideas from all across Wellington. And it was really hard to pick just 6 to support. So the movement's real and the movement's growing. And I think just the entrepreneurial capacity in Wellington, with sort of being in Inspiral Land for the last 5 years, we're just seeing it grow and grow and grow. And a lot of that is about solving meaningful problems, not just about trying to make a buck. So more people working on stuff that matters.
Bart, another of the delivery team, thanked sponsors and supporters and summed up how Wellington is acting as a thought leader in the low carbon space.
I think the other part of that is that we're starting to see that people around the world are looking at different things that are coming out of Wellington as well, and we're starting to get a little bit of a reputation that's growing, which is great. You go to places in Australia,
like a good reputation,
great reputation.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah. You see, they're talking about some of the ideas that are coming out of here and starting to look towards Wellington for a bit of inspiration. So if we can start to take that to the next level and build an inspiration hub for the world around this stuff in Wellington, then we're going to have a pretty special place.
Quick word about the sponsors. Main sponsor, in effect, is Wellington City Council.
Legends.
Who have supported it since its inception, last 4 years. And you've also got a few others on board. Just talk briefly to those.
So this year is the first year that we've got the Capital Low Carbon Partnership Fund, where not only have the council put in money to that to match fund what the teams raise, or potentially match fund what the teams raise, we've got corporates that are jumping in as well. So we're seeing real leaders in this space within the corporate community say put their hand up and want to put money towards this. We've got BNZ Power Shop who are the first to jump on board, and I think there's a few that are lining up for next year and to start growing this fund. And we've also got the Greater Wellington Regional Council as well who have put in money. Which is great. And the good thing for these corporates is that they get to put their money into this and they get to choose where it goes and what teams they back and what teams they support based on whatever their corporate social responsibility goals are as well. So they're feeling like they're well involved and participating in it, and all of the words that we're getting back from them are great.
Just a quick roundtable on teams and how people can contact you online in terms of either social handles or websites or both.
Team Gurgle can be contacted on our website. You can email us at hello@gurgle.nz, not .co.nz, just .nz. We've got a Facebook page which you can sign up to. We've also got an Instagram account and a Twitter account, so it's @gurgle.nz. Follow us on all social media.
GURGL.
Richie, where can we find you online, mister?
Polypellis.com, www.polypellis.com means we're looking at global aspirations.
WA Collective.
Find us on our website, so www.wacollective.org.nz. So WA is WA with a macron on top of the A. It means time, duration or season in Māori. And you can also find us on Facebook and check out our Instagram. And if you want a good lol about some period puns, head to our website.
And Ali.
You can find us on wasted.com, which is a almost complete website. Will be complete by Tuesday. Our Twitter is @wasted-ednz, so waste-ednz. And our Facebook and Instagram is wasted.ednz, just to get tricky on that.
I reckon you can sleep a little easier at night, knowing these are some of the amazing people working on solving some of society's wicked problems. If you're in Wellington next Tuesday, 31st October, the Low Carbon Challenge finale is 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Mac's Brew Bar in Wellington. Free tickets are available on Eventbrite, and there's a link in this episode's show notes. Send affection or criticism our way on Twitter and Instagram @TwicePodcast. Share us with your friends and colleagues, and consider rating us on iTunes, which will help others find us. It's really great to be supported by BizDojo, who helped me devote time to delivering regular shows over the last year. BizDojo are creating and facilitating communities of talented, interesting and clever humans pursuing their passions through a network of co-work venues across New Zealand. With flexible options for small and large teams, and monthly contract-free plans starting from $399 New Zealand dollars, develop your purpose over at bizdojo.com and @BizDojo on Twitter and Instagram to find out more. If you don't already know about the Collider Wellington programme of largely free events, you should. Collider Wellington is a monthly programme of events where you can seek out some of the smartest people on the planet, learn something new and access world-class intelligence. Their goal is to connect thought leaders, emerging entrepreneurs and inspirational experts to support the growth of the greatest little city on earth, Wellington, New Zealand. For all the deets, go to Collider Wellington, which is spelt COLLIDERWGTN.com to find out more. Our grateful thanks to BizDojo, Collider Wellington and especially Wellington City Council for their support of this show. Upcoming shows feature Tim Jones from the Grow Good Company and Andrea Brewster from Girl Guiding New Zealand, sharing perspectives in a final Social Enterprise World Forum Voices episode. Then we're stoked to be chatting with Louise and Chris from Arkina Foundation, New Zealand's social enterprise sector developers and World Forum organisers. Twice, 2 weeks in creative endeavour is an independent Love Not Money show, delivering insightful and hopefully entertaining stories and journeys to now of people making positive dents on society. Recording from craft beer capital Wellington, New Zealand, which is why we usually taste and rate choice brews in episodes. Find us on the Apple Podcasts or Overcast apps for iPhone and on Pocket Casts app on Android. Search for the show using the word twice, aka 2 weeks in creative endeavour. See our cheeky red and white diagonal logo staring at you in the search results and hit subscribe to receive latest episodes. Also, check out our back catalogue of more than 60 shows published over the last 2 years. Thanks again for listening and for your support and messages. Hope you've enjoyed it. Cheers.